Okay, today I want to talk a little bit about split patterns, something you'd turn in a lathe. This is kind of a quick little review. I've seen a lot of guys, they'll put a piece of paper or cardboard, light cardboard, between two pieces of wood, glue them together, and then split the paper when they try and take them apart. It's kind of a pain, so this is a talk one about how to eliminate having to use that. So as I'm talking about this stuff, I'll kind of point a few things out. So one, this is a glue up here. Try and make all your glue joints run vertical to the parting line. And the reason for that is over time, these glue joints will let go if there's stored in any kind of moisture area. So this creates a place that'll be hard to draw out of the sand if you make your glue joints horizontal to the parting line. So make them vertical. An example of that is this part right here. You can see how I glued it together. Now this part wasn't turned, this was just sawed and sanded, but same principle. I don't have, this was a loose pattern, so I don't have any screw holes in it. But when you're going to turn the part, what you want to do is you're going to want two pins in it, and you're going to want to screw it together and kind of sort of, I guess you could say, glue it together. Basically what I do is, like on a part maybe this size, I'd put like 3 spots of glue in there. So when they are compressed together, clamped together before you put everything on the lathe, the glue spot will be about the same size as your little fingernail. So you glue it together, spot glue it, but to get to that point, and you may be wondering what this is, these are centers for the lathe. We had some in the shop that we made up. They were made from aluminum. These I 3D printed. I made them heavy duty enough. I think they'll work in the lathe just fine. And actually made 2 sets, a larger one and a smaller one. So what they do is you saw and sand your piece of work together and make them exactly the same length. Then they are offset by whatever this step is. The step has to be identical. And that way when they're offset, you know, because this is right on the center, you know that when you chuck these in the lathe, everything will be right on the center. After you screw these end pieces on, you got one for the live center and one that goes in a 3-jaw chuck. And you get them together, you will drill a hole, pin them together, and depending on the job, since there's 4 screws coming in through here, depending on the size job, you may want to put screws in through this way and the length of the job, especially if it's longer. The shape of your pattern, you got to make the screws are deep enough to avoid the pattern. Same with the pins, you want them in deep enough so they aren't going to be turned with the pattern. They'll be turned inside the pattern. They are not glued in place, so they can be removed later. The shape of your pattern, do not plug the holes for any of these screw holes or pin holes while turning. It just creates a lump while you're turning, especially if you use a wood dowel, because it's usually harder than if you're doing pine or something, so I don't plug the holes. Once you get everything set up, what I will do most of the time, depending on the size of the job, is I will knock the corners off here. Do it on a bandsaw, table saw, whatever. And I've listened to a few cabinet makers, which is fine. They don't agree to the heart-to-heart, bark-to-bark mindset. In a pattern shop, that is more critical. It gives you a more stable glue-up, and you aren't building a piece of furniture, you are building a pattern that you want to be stable. Stability will come by gluing it up heart to heart, bark to bark every time. So that's kind of what I was looking at. I hope this will be kind of a short video. You will glue your core box up the same way as the pattern. Vertical. Here's the core box for that last part. Same thing. The glue joints run vertical here. This was again sawn and sanded. I didn't turn the pattern on this one because it wasn't necessary. Most of the time it's far easier to saw and sand something than it is to turn it. If you got a contour like this, yeah, turning's easier. The one I had there was just a couple straight lines and a bevel, so it was real easy, just saw and sand it. But that's it. Like I said, hopefully these will work. I'll give them a try this spring when the weather warms up and I feel like running the generator and listening to it. But I'll turn those, or turn a pattern between those centers and show you what that looks like. Okay, so let's get a little closer look at these centers. Of course, this line here on both sides is right down the center of the part. 4 screw holes to hold the work in place. This side is a live center. Live center would go here. This side goes in a 3-jaw chuck. And so there you go. That's what it looks like. And hopefully I made them stout enough to work. We'll find out when I stick them in the lathe. If you're going to do a lot of work with split patterns, I would suggest making them out of aluminum and machining them all up the way they should be done. Hope this helps. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think again. And you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Bye.